Do not become a prisoner to human and leadership comparison. You have to find out what is the unique calling on my life, what releases the best of my leadership gifts in the vein, in the context, and with the people that I've been assigned to. And I have to rest in that and not feel obligated to measure my success by what a cat is doing down the street or around the corner or how they preach. I don't get hoarse anymore preaching. If you would have asked me why, I'd say because I've stopped trying to be what I ain't. I grew up listening to hoopers, and the one thing I've always wanted to be was a hooper until I found out it ain't me. I just can't do it. I can get musicality, but it doesn't bleed into hoopology, right? And I had to get comfortable with that. But here's the interesting thing. The thing that has become distinctive as a description about my homiletic would never have been anything related to my celebration anyway. What became distinctive about my homiletic was the ability to build tension in a text and juxtapose tension, of course, with Christ being the resolution. Right? And once I discovered that and anchored into that, everything I was trying to accomplish on the entertainment side of homiletics, once I let that go and focused on what gift mix I bring to my homiletical presentation, that's when invitations open. That's when students start to talking about, I have a guy in my D-Min cohort now at United Theological Seminary, and when I walked in the first day so they can introduce themselves to me, this dude gonna walk up to me, Bishop Hames, and say, Pastor Curtis, I first heard you when I was 9 years old. And I almost wanted to tell him, and you need to find another institution because you're not gonna age me like that, right? So it's the capacity to see beyond immediate reality to divine possibilities, discovering God's intentions and God's purposes. All right, Howard Thurman, that influential civil rights theologian, said, don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive, and then go do that. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. It's why the Lilly Foundation has become so superlatively unique in the field that they're operating in, because when they offer sabbaticals to clergy persons, here's the only qualification for receiving a sabbatical. What makes your heart sing? If painting makes your heart sing, they'll give you $45,000 to $60,000 to take 3 to 6 months or a year off so you can just paint and become reinvigorated. What makes your heart sing? Because if something doesn't make you come alive, but God forbid, if pastoring doesn't make you come alive, trust me, your congregation will feel it. They know more about us than we give them credit for. Some biblical examples of vision. You probably already know these. I just want to run through them because it's responsible in terms of teaching. Abraham's vision. Called to leave homeland for unseen promises. The Lord said to Abram, go from your country, your people, your father's household to a land that I will show you. Abraham looked forward to the city with foundations, whose architect and builder is God. Moses' vision. Burning bush revelation, called to liberate. I don't want to spend an inordinate amount of time on detours, but trust that the distinction of Moses' leadership was he had it when he was still in Egypt. Right. Right. But he didn't have the right capacity to engage it with the right execution. He was a liberator then, but his modality then would not work to free and liberate the entirety of the people. So we saw his liberation motif, did we not, when the Egyptian taskmaster is beating a Hebrew slave, and he intervenes, murders the Egyptian taskmaster, buries his body in the sand, And then when discovered, he has to run. And while he is in his place, in between who he was and who he becomes, God shapes him for the liberation he intended for Moses to lead. And that had nothing to do with taking a weapon and freeing one Hebrew at a time. After he goes through this pedagogy and transformation, he goes back to the same context that he had to flee from, and now he goes back with a different vision and execution, and he's able to lead the exodus of the Hebrews right out of Egypt. Same liberator, but transformed to be able to liberate that blankets the entirety of those who were oppressed.